You're gonna have to wait. Oh yeah. Who the hell needs KFC? Who's KFC chicken right home? Oh, shit. Hey everyone, welcome to our channel. Today we're going to be making fried chicken. We're going to make that fried chicken crispy, juicy. I guarantee you anybody looking at this recipe is going to make the best fried chicken ever. Now, the recipe is rather simple, but we are going to be using a fryer. We're going to be doing the 11 spices. They're usually, out there posted on the internet. I know it's not going to be KFC chicken, but it's going to be pretty close to it, maybe even better. Depends on how it comes out. But right now, come along, join my bus. Let's make this chicken, and if you're ready, let's dig it right into it. One of the most important things that people tend to forget or don't do or too lazy is you got to brine the chicken. Brining the chicken creates moisture. It helps the juices retain. It really salts and with all the spices that you put in your brine gets into the chicken. A lot of it it's much like content, right? We can dress up, look pretty, but there's nothing inside. We're no longer interested to talk to that person. Same thing with the chicken. We can have a really nice batter with all these spices. However, if you don't brine the chicken, you're not going to have these spices on the inside, and it's critical that you do, because when you take that first bite and you sink your teeth right into that meat, you want to be able to taste those spices right in the inside, not just the outside. The crust is great, the color is great, but you want to have those juices and those spices right in the inside as you take that bite out. So what you want to do is create a brine. We already brined this chicken. However, it's rather a really simple recipe. All you have to do is boil your water. You want to salt it enough that it's salty but not bitter. You add a little bit of sugar. You add a little bit of pepper, and pretty much go wild with the spices that you like, and let it sit in the fridge for about 4 hours. Now, one tip, you don't want to pour the chicken right into the hot water when it boils. Let it cool down, put it in the fridge, let it cool. Then you place your chicken in there and leave it in the fridge for at least 4 to overnight, right? So it really depends how much you do. But for the show, we don't have that much time. We brined it for 4 hours. I think it's going to be okay. But in a few minutes, we're going to find out how it comes out. But I guarantee you it's going to be great, delicious, crisp, and juicy. So first thing we got to do is we're going to take our brine chicken. We're going to cut it up into pieces. One of the actually tips here is it's actually cheaper to buy a whole chicken and split it into 8 pieces rather than buy just drumsticks or buy maybe just wings or breasts. I think it's a lot easier to just buy one chicken. If you're doing it for a family, you're doing it for your friends, a whole chicken will probably feed 4 or 5 people easy. So we're going to cut it up. We'll start with legs. You want to pop those legs right at the joint, and then it's an easy cut. You do want, a good sized knife. You don't want to do it with a smaller knife, but the cuts are pretty easy. Again, you pop those joints, and the leg comes out right off. I'm going to cut this again for thigh. You want to make sure to retain skin. Skin is important because we're going to use batter. Place it right in the skin. Same thing with our wings. We'll pop them right off. Pretty easy to do. Another piece. Yeah, cut on the side. Don't butcher the skin too much, because you want that skin. It's going to be nice and juicy. All right. And then right here, you can sort of just, kind of pull it back. You don't really need a knife. Maybe just to cut right over here. It's really not that much. Yeah. And then, kind of just remove this piece from right over here, and you're gonna have 2 nice chicken breasts. Now, this piece over here, You definitely want to keep if you need to maybe make chicken stock. It'd be pretty good. But yeah, I don't think we're going to be using it for our fried chicken. And here we go. Well, as you can see, I butchered a little bit of skin on this one. Actually, the other one is okay, but this one is going to be with minimal skin. What are you going to do? Can't be perfect, right? And then right over here, here's one thigh. Here's a drumstick. Still skin on. Here's another one. Here's another drumstick. And we still got the skin on, which is good. Now this, like I said, you can use it for chicken stock, something else, but definitely not for fried chicken. For now, I'm just gonna place it right over here. We don't need this stuff. I'll wipe this down. And now we need to move and create batter for it. Now the batter is a little bit not complex, but there's a little trick to it. You want to do it twice. You definitely want to do it twice because you want that crust to be thick, not too thin. So what we're going to do is we're going to wash it in buttermilk with some eggs. We're going to dip it into our flour. Now we have white flour, and if you want to zoom in here and show folks that it's got a little bit of corn in here as well. So a little bit of corn with white flour, and then a bunch of spices that we're going to go through as we mix these together. So the first thing is the egg wash with the with buttermilk. Now as far as proportions, you really don't have to go crazy on being precise. It's you know, sort of, it's got to be enough to wash your chicken in it. So that should be fine here. We'll break our eggs in there. I find that 4 eggs is enough for a whole chicken. You might be able to do even less, but what the hell, right? We're making fried chicken. More is merrier. How wrong can you go with some fried chicken? You can't. Now, for those that are on the diet, I'm sorry you're watching this. I know it's tempting, but hopefully at least the show is going to make you feel good, right? Sometimes it's not about eating, sometimes it's about watching. I find myself sometimes watching other people cook on TV. And yeah, sure, it makes me hungry, but yeah, it's okay. All right, so we got our egg and buttermilk wash ready for us. Now we're gonna work on the flour. It should be enough. Nice and deep. Well, this to the side, place it here. So now we're gonna work on the flour. So you already saw that we got white flour in here, we got corn flour in here. And now we're gonna go through the spices. I'll just call them out. Again, as far as proportions, don't go crazy. You don't need to be precise because you're not putting it on the chicken itself. You're actually putting all these spices right into the flour itself. So I'm telling you right now, even if you overdo a little bit, it's still going to be a perfect combination once it all settles in. Now I'm sorry about the background. My son and my daughter is actually driving their Power Wheels in the background. So we got kosher salt over here. You do want to have plenty of salt. Here we got pepper, brand new pepper. Need to remove this. Here we go. Actually, I'll go with the big one. Here we go. Good pepper, nice taste to it. Here we got ginger. And now ginger. After ginger, we got thyme. Here comes a little thyme. After thyme, we got celery salt. Now, all these I picked at the supermarket. I'm not advertising any brands. It's just plain stuff that you can get at your supermarket. Now we got garlic salt. After garlic salt comes, we already used this one, ground mustard. Here comes our ground mustard. You know, a little more. Who doesn't like a lot of mustard, right? Now we got paprika. I have a little bit over here. I'm gonna finish this one out. Actually, you know what? I probably have enough. This is, I don't need to open up a new one. Now, oregano. And then we got white pepper and basil. Here comes white pepper. And the final step here is basil. Dry basil. All right, now we're done with this. Time to mix and make a perfect batter. Now you want this thing to even out, right? Because you're gonna go through all the pieces with your chicken, so you definitely want this thing to be nice and even. Here we go, here we go. Come on. Let's try not to make a huge of a mess, even though it's very tempting. You know, you watch those big shot chefs in the kitchen, and they throwing things around, salt is flying around. It's all good. And now we are ready. So, take a piece of chicken, regular chicken. We're gonna wash it in our buttermilk. Woo! See how pretty it is? Gonna try to zoom in, come in a little closer. See? Make the chicken, but guess what? We're not done yet. We're doing this again. And that's gonna build a nice crust. And we're doing this again. Here we go, here we go. All our spices in there. Oh, it's gonna be so good. All right, don't do a lazy job. You gotta make sure it's nicely covered. Next. Same thing. We go in for a dip. And here we go. Cover it nice and generously. You don't want to leave any spots out, because remember, it's all about the crust, that first bite, that crunch. You want that crunch to be so loud that your neighbor's gonna hear you. For a second dip, repeat the process. Right back in there. Here we go, more flour. Okay. Here we go, here we go. Okay, I think that's gonna work out beautifully for us. Let's grab a wing. Off it goes for a dip. Here we go. Cover. I think we're ready for our next big step. If you want to come a little closer over here, I'm gonna remove this. I think our fryer is ready to go. Lift this up. Here we go. And the key here is not to overcrowd. You don't want to overcrowd. Why? Because you're not going to get the perfect crust. So, here's a tie. Here's the drumstick. What should we pick next? You know what? I'm going to leave the chicken breast out. Let's go for a wing right here. Lying over here. You know what? Another drumstick. Why? Because they're gonna cook alike about the same time. And here comes magic. Here we go. Now we're gonna let it sit there. You know, let's show the pretty bubbles. Look at that. All unhealthy stuff coming our way. I just got this fryer. I used to have one of those with the lids. You know, this thing is probably 15 years old. So I figured, you know what? I want something newer. And this thing is actually pretty good. It's made by Tefal. Definitely not advertising. It's not paid advertising for sure, but we'll see how it's going to perform. We'll see how it does. One thing I do like about it is this thing has a container beneath it where you drain everything. You can actually filter your oil, and you know, if you're frying a lot of stuff, you probably wanna you know, filter it a little bit and go for the second round instead of wasting your oil. Obviously, I don't recommend keeping it for the next day, but you know, if you got to make a few cycles in one day, I think it's okay. But we'll see how it works out. Yeah, I can't really translate this into a video, but I'm standing over it, and the smell is really reminding of KFC chicken. I mean, it's hard to believe, but it's almost like, you know, when you stand in line at KFC and that chicken is already on shelves, and you're just like, when's my next turn, and they're ready to put it on. That scent that you pick up in line, that scent that you smell in the KFC chicken, it's definitely here. I mean, you know, maybe it's not perfect, but it's, you know, I'm already getting hungry just by smelling this fryer. Maybe there's something wrong with me. Here's the chicken. Yeah, I'm gonna, let's see what we got here. Well, maybe I should just bite right into it, huh? What do you think? I'm just gonna bite right into it. Oh! Oh! Well, no, the crust is awesome. I'll tell you, it's not the prettiest. Oh, it's so hot. It's juicy. It's crunchy. It's got a nice, good salt flavor to it. You can see it's fully cooked. You know, it's right to the bone. It's cooked. It's falling apart. And it's just awesome. I don't know. Oh my God. It's the nicest thing. You need to try this. It is really, really good. Well, folks, I think this is it for today. The chicken came out really nice. I'm like trying to dig in for another piece. Sorry. As you can see, it's pretty easy to do. We're gonna list out all the rest of all the spices that we use up here, so you don't forget. Definitely try it on your own. I think your friends are gonna love it. Easy to do. You know, just follow along this video. If you need to rewatch it a few times, follow along. That's fine as well. I thank you for being with us. Thanks for joining our channel. Hope you subscribe. Hope you like this button. And we'll see you next time. See you. I'm gonna have another piece. Sorry, you're gonna have to wait. Well, yeah. Who the hell needs KFC? Who's KFC chicken right home? Oh, shit. Delicious. Cut it.